Oh, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Amber Heard slips up and she gets visibly angry with Camille Vasquez. Camille Vasquez calls out Amber Heard's lies in the deposition of the divorce. You can see where Amber Heard slips up and says, yeah, TMZ was alerted. Now, this is all to do with the TRO and the filing for divorce and that entire situation, which none of what Amber Heard says actually makes any sense. Stating that it would all be public and people just sort of, could be alerted and sort of pop up and things like that. That doesn't make any sense. There's actually been a bunch of lawyers that have come out and said, no, that's not how it works, because you don't have to file it in person. You can just file it and it just gets done. She never had to turn up. She didn't have to do any of those things. Normally those things are just done by runners. It doesn't make any sense. It's complete fabrication. But the best thing about this is, ladies and gents, is Amber Heard slipped up in her previous deposition and she said, and you can see the shock on her face for when she actually slips up, TMZ was alerted. Yeah, Amber, we all know you're lying. And I know that TMZ have the copyright for that video, the cabinet video, because I've been copyright claimed by TMZ. Which, yes, that means they hold the copyrights, which means money's exchanged hands and they've got it. So enjoy Amber Heard's lies exposed once more.
Ms. Heard, you testified yesterday that when you left the courthouse after obtaining the domestic violence restraining order against Mr. Depp, you walked out to, quote, a sea of paparazzi and cameras, right?
That's correct.
You testified that you were surprised to see the sea of cameras.
That's correct.
Because it was quiet when you went into the courthouse that morning.
And the divorce had remained under the radar up to that point.
You testified that no one knew about your divorce, so you thought it was going to stay that way, right?
No, I always figured it would come out. I just was trying to buy time.
You knew the media had been alerted that you were filing for divorce, right, Ms. Heard?
No, I just knew that it was impossible to do that privately, so you could just hope it was a matter of time.
You knew they were going to be there, didn't you?
No, I did not. I assume since it's a public building that there's that likelihood, or not likelihood, but possibility. But I was shocked.
Your publicist, Jody Gottlieb, was there at the courthouse with you, wasn't she?
Yes, she was.
So you anticipated that you might need your publicist?
I thought the filing might make, I was told the filing was public, that it would be impossible. There's no way for you to do a private filing. And then the second that I filed for the TRO, it would be public news. I didn't expect all these photographers and cameras to show up at the courthouse in real time, but they did.
If we could please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 1280, which is a clip from your divorce deposition. And you have at page, if I can alert you, you have the transcript there, page 74, lines 22.
You said 874?
74.
74.
Line 22 through 75, line 13.
I'm sorry, just 72 line.
74, line 22 through 75, line 13.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Okay. If we could please play and display to the jury Plaintiff's Exhibit 1280.
Is responsible.
Ms. Heard, did you send a text message to Jerry Judge on May 24, 2016, telling Jerry Judge, quote, "I'm desperately trying to reach Johnny. It's extremely important. Please tell him"?
I remember sending the text message that is in front of me right now to Jerry, and I would like I remember sending this because I wanted to tell Johnny or have him told by Jerry or someone who knew him or was close to him. Basically, I didn't want him to find out online that I had or was about to file, or I had already filed for divorce. I wanted him to know verbally. So I was trying to reach him through a third party to tell him. When I say reach, I'm specifically saying I would like him to know information coming from me or coming from Jerry, from me, so that he finds out about the divorce filing or my intention to do so from some other source other than TMZ, which was alerted.
You slipped up there, didn't you, Ms. Heard? You let it slip out that TMZ had been alerted to your filing of the domestic violence restraining order, didn't you?
I disagree. That's not what I'm talking about.
TMZ is the same outlet that you released the video of Mr. Depp attacking the kitchen cabinets the day before this deposition was taken, wasn't it?
I didn't do that. I don't
TMZ
know how
owns
to do
the
that.
copyright to that video now, doesn't it?
I have no idea what TMZ
Did they
owns.
pay you for that?
I never got paid for it because I had nothing to do with that.
So TMZ was just lucky in getting the inside scoop to your divorce from Mr. Depp, huh?
I have no idea. It is not, that's not my area of expertise. I wouldn't even know how to do that. And also, what does that get me? If I wanted to leak things about Johnny, I could have done that in a much more successful way, in a bigger way, for years.
Not
and
when
years.
you were extorting him for $7 million.
I got a fraction of what I was entitled to in the state of California, by the way.
Right.
What extortion?
Now, let's talk about the TMZ alerted. Explain to the jury what you meant by the TMZ was alerted.
So when you make these kind of filings, meaning divorce, marriage, things like that, they are public record. And so when we filed for divorce, when I filed for divorce, I asked my team to file in the most discreet way, literally to put it under a stack of papers and file it at the end of day, so kind of had more of a shot of being missed by the paparazzi and by TMZ and those sorts of publicity outlets. I believe that we had been remarkably lucky following the divorce, that it wasn't picked up, and that it gave me a precious few days of peace at that really fragile time. When I found out that they were going to run the story or that they had the information, I was trying to get a hold of Johnny to clarify that I did not do this in a punitive way. I didn't want him to be mad at me. I didn't want him to find out in that sort of context online.
And who had connections to TMZ?
Objection calls for speculation.
Do you know?
I do know. Johnny
Your
and I
Honor,
spoke about
Your
it.
Honor, calls for
Sustain
speculation.
the objection.
Did Mr. Depp tell you about who had connections with TMZ?
Yes, we talked about it. His lawyer, Laura Wasser.